What's the dumbest reason you've ever been sued? A coworker sued me because I had books on a shelf behind me during Zoom calls, claimed it made him feel intellectually inferior and created a hostile work environment. I'd been working remotely since 2020 for our marketing firm, and my home office was just my guest bedroom with an IKEA bookshelf behind my desk. Nothing fancy, half the books were old college textbooks and airport paperbacks mixed in with some work-related marketing guides. Every Monday we had team meetings over video conference. This guy named Brett started as our new account coordinator about 6 months ago and seemed normal at first. During one particularly boring meeting about quarterly projections, I noticed him staring intensely at something behind me instead of following the PowerPoint. After the call, he messaged me asking if those were real books or just decorative spines, such a weird question that I just replied, yeah, they're real. The next week he wrote me again, your background is really distracting and makes it hard to focus during meetings. I figured maybe the book spines were creating weird reflections on camera, so I adjusted my lighting but kept the shelf because, where else was I supposed to put my books? He got increasingly aggressive in team meetings, constantly interrupting my presentations with comments like, well, those of us without personal libraries might see it differently, or easy to say for someone with all those resources. My manager called asking if there were tensions between Brett and me, but I honestly had no clue what his problem was. Other colleagues noticed it too. One joked that Brett seemed personally offended by literacy. About 2 months into this insanity, I got an email from HR saying Brett had filed a formal complaint about my intentionally intimidating display of academic superiority during mandatory video meetings. The HR director seemed embarrassed reading it aloud and asked if I could use a virtual background. I switched to a generic office background for exactly one meeting before deciding this was absolutely insane and went back to my normal setup. 3 weeks later, a process server showed up at my door with actual legal documents because this lunatic hired a lawyer and sued me for intentional infliction of emotional distress and creating a hostile work environment through ostentatiously displayed intellectual dominance. His lawsuit claimed my bookshelf was specifically curated to make him feel inferior and that seeing titles like Strategic Marketing Excellence caused him severe psychological distress. The suit demanded $40,000 in damages plus an injunction requiring me to use a neutral background in all work-related video communications. Court day arrived and Brett showed up with his lawyer and a professional psychiatrist as an expert witness. The psychiatrist testified that Brett suffered from bibliophobia, workplace anxiety triggered by seeing books in professional environments. Brett testified that he woke up in cold sweats thinking about my bookshelf and had panic attacks when walking past libraries or bookstores. His lawyer presented an entire slideshow analyzing my bookshelf with red circles around particularly aggressive titles, including a cookbook called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat that he described as subliminally violent. My lawyer called our IT director as a witness, who testified that exactly 0 complaints had been filed about anyone else's Zoom backgrounds, including Jennifer from accounting who had an entire wall of stuffed birds behind her. The judge asked Brett directly what specific harm the books had caused him, other than making him insecure about his own reading habits. Brett's answer was completely unhinged as he yelled, she knows what she's doing with those books just sitting there, judging me every Monday at 9 a.m. sharp, making me feel like I should have finished college instead of getting my degree online. The judge rubbed his temples for a long moment before speaking, sir, if seeing books traumatizes you to this degree, I'm concerned about how you function in the real world where libraries and bookstores exist freely. He dismissed the case and suggested Brett seek actual therapy instead of legal remedies for his apparent literature-related